So small story. I got this core right before the OTS championship, but I was missing the Raging Phoenix, so I could not play this. And then I was like, well, what about if I play Red Dragon Archfiend? But I couldn't get him in time, so I ended up playing Adventure Synchron from OTS, which was, I guess, it wasn't a mistake because I ended up winning. I benched this deck, and I ended up playing Red Dragon Archfiend after the OTS championship because I've been playing Adventure Synchron for quite some time. So I was like, okay, let's try a different deck. And for the past few weeks, Red Dragon Archfiend has been kind to me. It's been allowing me to top 4 weeks in a row, which is pretty cool, and ended up paying for itself, which is amazing. And then now I was like, oh, well, I've had this deck benched for like a bit, so let's go ahead and try it. And I ended up taking it and ended up getting top 4, which is pretty cool. There's 5 rounds of Swiss. It started off kind of sus because I got there right before the tournament started, and then I ended up going to the restroom. I was like, okay. And then apparently they were calling out to confirm if your name was on the list. And I couldn't answer because I was in the restroom. I was washing my hands, okay, chill. And I was like, hey, my name's not on the list. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, okay, yeah. All right, so I'll put you in and you can get a buy. I was like, okay, fine. I started off with a buy. I was like, I mean, it's not a loss, but it's not a win either. So I was like, okay, it's fair enough. And then I ended up going undefeated until the last round against Dragon Link versus Harrison. And ended up going to top 8. Top 8 versus Blackwing. Going against Josh. Oh my goodness, bro. You know in the anime where like the siders can't really play against each other because otherwise Crimson Dragon appears? That's exactly what happened. But in this case, the Crimson Dragon was him bricking. He bricked both times. I was like, oh my god. That was so bad. Because like, I played him in Swiss, he bricked. I played him in top 8 and he bricked. I was like, oh my god, that's so unfortunate, bro. It's just the Crimson Dragon. Anyway, so I ended up winning that one. And then we go to top 4. And I go up against Yoshi. He's playing Rescue Ace. There was a minor technical play that was like it was not as optimal as I should have been, but it's fine. It's understandable. It's like the first time back with the deck itself, especially with this type of style, the way it is with Raging Phoenix, with some of the new support cards. So I guess I'll take that. It's fine. So I ended up getting knocked out there. He ended up getting second place, which is pretty cool. But anyways, let's get straight into the deck profile. Triple Fire, Triple Gazelle, Triple Foxy, Triple Spinny, and then one of each utility card. Falco and a Weasel. Okay, so this is divided because I've seen like a lot of lists like either not play this or not play at 3. And I think for the most part, it's because going second isn't as great. It's consistent. It boosts consistency dramatically because it gets access to the Gazelle. But going second, it makes it a bit weird because you can get access to your access code. You'll be sequencing out your turn, but it won't be doing anything. Because like you'll be, okay, you can get to this, start climbing, maybe heatleo bounce back row. But like, you don't have this blowout thing that you can do going second unless the game is simplified with your hand traps. Which is what this deck is meant to be doing, right? You're meant to go, okay, hand trap, hand trap, hand trap, simple for the game state, and then have your sequencing get you there, right? Establish your board, right? Like maybe spin a back row, attack over a few cards, and then like get access to your trap and pass after you've already interacted with your opponent and simplify the game state. That's usually how this deck's meant to function, which is fundamentally what Yu-Gi-Oh is, right? It's interact, have your setup, give them a turn, they try to interact with you, and like that's basically Yu-Gi-Oh. But for the most part, I think it's not as appealing because going second, it interferes with the OTK line with access code. But I think there's ways to mitigate that because you have extra like monsters that can help you do that, right? Not in the same way, but for the most part, it allows you to have this blowout effect, similar to what access code is meant to be doing. So I think maxing this out is fine. Like I didn't mind it at all. Like just basically the way the extra is structured. I didn't find any issues with it. Triple Gazelle, just Triple Gazelle is insane. And then this one, because this one's not that great, right? So you need this guy to pair with something, right? So like that's why you pair with this. So depending on your hand, you either use the effect. Because I know some people don't even use this effect as Excavate, but I do. Like that effect is insane. It gets you any monster. Like the amount of times I revealed Gazelle or Circle or Will or this was insane. It was wild. Or even revealing this when I had Will. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, Excavate 3, reveal this, I have Will in hand, okay, oh, it's nice. Combo off, or try to combo off, and Will special summon this, get Weasel, and like, the fact that this is a card is insane. Because typically you lose to Nibiru, but the fact that you play this now allows you to not lose to Nibiru. Because post Nibiru, you just, okay, it's fine, special this. And then at least establish your link to enable your traps. So like, yeah, that's why I really like this, because you play so much on engine. You want consistency cards within this, right? Because this will get you to any of your other cards, like whether it be the traps, whether it be wheel, circle. But for the most part, it's mainly to facilitate this guy, because this guy does nothing alone. It does nothing alone. You need him to be paired with something else. And this is pretty good, and this is pretty good as well. But like this and this is kind of odd. If you use this effect, you can't climb into Splash Mage, so that's why it's kind of odd. Because if you go summon effect, then negate, you don't get access to this. That means you can't pair these two to go into a Stelio, right? So that's why you need this guy to pair with this way and this one. Like even going second, like being able to go silent mining for this, get you to the fire, pitch for this, pitch this. No, like it's just so good. So hard opening this is really beneficial, especially now that there's like a lot of like floodgates. And Jaguar, Falco, a lot of people have been cutting this, but I just like the utility of this card. It's just so good. Being able to like do the little play where you reset your traps on their turn, which is pretty nice. An obscure line that you can do where circle for this guy, and let's say they get rid of your link somehow, then okay, that's fine. And then you go rage, send this from hand. You'll reset the rage or reset the roar that you had just used. Like that line is pretty cool. Like I really like that. Or just going into Gazelle. Gazelle's dumping this as well. Like they get rid of your body, special Gazelle, send this to the graveyard, say one of your traps, circle, will, or even your shield spell. You know what I mean? And it's pretty cool. And then if you establish Phoenix, reviving it out from the graveyard is like, okay, it's fine. That means you have your trap and you have your link. Like it's so good. And I think that's really nice, because it's kind of hard to play around that, because you can't really anticipate that. And I really like that element of surprise with Falco. And then Weasel is insane. It helps you play past Nibiru, right? Because you could just go, okay, Nibiru, okay, search this, or you would have had this in hand, special this. And then at least establish your link to enable your traps. And doing the Gozen lock with this, it's so bad, toxic and bad, but like it's something you can do. And then you have your consistency cards. Yeah, triple circle, it's amazing. And triple silent mining. I almost didn't play this, but I feel like you kind of need to play this, because it allows you to have an extender and trigger Gazelle. Because sometimes the issue is when the spar move with your solids, you need to find a way to pitch your solid and then trigger Gazelle that way as an extender. Otherwise, if you don't have this, like you can get access to this, but there's no way to trigger Gazelle if you add Gazelle, you know what I mean? And being able to like have max consistency with this, like Ash doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? Because you can have this, the Ash this, okay, you have this anyways, and you have this anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So like the way this functions is it's basically free, right? Because you're discarding solids that recur themselves anyways. So you're not really fulfilling any cost for this, which is why it seems like you kind of need to play it. Because it's boost consistency. It's just so consistent. You're always going to get access to this, which translates into this, which then gets you to your trap, which is how the deck mainly wins. And then you have your triple will, of course. And this is a new addition. I'm playing this because of the way the extra deck is. You kind of need to play it because it's odd. You'll see how when I get to the extra deck. But for the most part, it's because of the way the extra deck is constructed. But it's not even bad. It's pretty good. Like being able to have an extender, like you're going to have a lot of fires in your graveyard. So this is an extended personal Nibiru if you don't have access to this. Even the popping effect is pretty nice. But you're mainly going to be using this to recycle your links, because you'll see when I get to the extra deck. But triple will help you place past Nibiru, and it allows you to make Foxy a bit better if you hit fire, right? Because if you go Foxy effect, and whether you have this in hand or whether you have this in hand, because sometimes you might come to that card variation, Spinny, and you have, so this will be your hand, right? You have this, you have like these three, and you're like, what do I do? I mean, I can summon this gets Ash or impermanent gets interacted with, and I'm kind of cooked, right? But since you have this, it can allow you to go, well, okay, I'll do this first, and then if he interacts with me, okay, summon this, right? Link it away, pitch for it, and then try to climb from there. Which I think 3 will is insane in that regard. But also because of the way the extra is structured, just being able to reborn your links really mitigates the ratios. And of course, you have one-off, you ever, I do this so many times, man. I was so annoying, the hell. And then you play double roar, and of course you have your rage. Double roar, because it comes up quite a lot. You could just play one, but like for the most part, the way the deck functions, it's really grindy. So the first one will get banished because you just play it safe. You just relink the bell, set it itself, you know? And then the following turn, you want to be able to get another one of these. Once again, this is going to be a higher card count deck, and this is why, right? Because you have so much interaction. because the format is so diverse. It's hard to really pinpoint what you want to interact with and who do you want to prioritize with, because it's like it's a hit or miss sometimes. Like you can be very generic, triple Ash, triple Droll, triple Veiler, triple Imperm. It's similar to RDA. You just have all just very generic. Like this is really good right now. This is really generic. This is hit or miss, but like it's a blowout if it resolves. This is basically to reinforce this and just to be as interactive as possible, ensuring that you have non-engine, because you have so much engine. You have so much engine that you need to find a way to filter this, right? So you will need to have a lot of hand traps to be as interactive as possible, because that's basically how this deck is meant to function, right? Be interactive consistently and then get access to your consistency with this and then blow them out. And then this is what I was main decking as well. I was going to side this, but I was like, oh, let's just main this at the very last minute. I was playing Gozen and Ice Dragon Prison. I mean, it was okay, but I don't know, because the deck count is 50. So you can easily get away with it, just not play this and play 44. Whether I play it again or not, I'm not too sure. But I think this one's a bit odd as well, because it seems like in theory it should be good, because it's meant to like mitigate those card variations when you open up like nothing but hand traps and this, or you open up like not the salads you want, right? Or just reinforces the minimal sequencing that allows you to play around the beauty, right? Because like you go, okay, summon this, search Gazelle, right? Link this away, summon Gazelle. Gazelle sends Roar, relink to Balinks, and then you set this, right? So it's very minimal, allows you to maintain tempo, right? Because that means you don't lose 2-nib the following turn, because you have this face up, and everything in your extra deck is basically fire. But for the most part, like I had no consistency issues. It's a higher card count deck. The amount of consistency you have allows you to have so much non-engine, like so much, right? Because the argument can be made that, okay, well, you want to see this as often as possible, or you still do. Because what I was noticing when I was at flat 40 is that I was seeing too much of this. Like, I was seeing too many Gazelles, too many Minings, too many Circles. I was seeing too much of it. So I was like, oh, let me filter it. And I just ended up adding all these to non-engine, because it's very interactive, right? Because like this gets you to fire itself, Gazelle itself. This excavates these, you know what I mean? So it functions quite well. So like, just try it out. You see what I mean? It's not as bad as you think. And then you have your side deck. You have triple, because purely, I hate losing to purely. Triple book, triple Dark Ruler for boards. Because the way that I have the extra deck, you see why. This guy just, Dark Ruler, nuke is insane. This, and of course, Evilly. Very generic. Okay, so here's the extra deck. You have Stalio, double Raging, double Pyro Phoenix, double heatleo. So the reason I'm playing these guys is because this guy restricts you. So going second, this guy boosts consistency dramatically, right? Summon, search Gazelle, you don't get access to the trap. But the moment you use that effect, you cannot go for access code, which is the issue I had. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do then? Because like all these salads, like they don't really threaten anything. They don't prompt any responses. You know, they don't force anything. What forces things is cards like this and cards like this. Apart from access code, there's no way to bait or anything. There's nothing. So I was like, well, I mean, I don't want to cut this card. This card's just insane. They just boost consistency dramatically. It's just insane how consistent this makes your deck. So I was like, well, how can I fix that issue? I mean, okay, well, this forces back row, right? Forces back row. Nukes the board. Does essentially what access code is meant to be doing. It doesn't OTK, but the fact that you can still nuke the board is wild. And to pair that with your trap, because obviously you would have had access to your Gazelle. Gazelle would have dumped the trap. So chain 1, chain 2, set, nuke, and you could obviously the previous turn you would have hand trapped them, and then it would have simplified the game state. So once you're at that point, okay, you know what I mean? And then you have a double wolf, double Balinks. So the issue I had with making room for these guys is I had to cut back on this. So that's why I'm playing this card, because this serves essentially as a third copy of each. There's times in the grind game you burn through these guys. This kind of serves as a similar purpose in that regard, because it returns these links to your extra deck, whether this is banished, because most of the time SP is in the format, and so is Mirror Jade. So like they're gonna banish your links, banish your monsters. So this is a way to kind of allow it to extend. And then of course you have to play this access code, transcode, heat soul, and splash mage. So initially I wasn't playing these. I was playing 3 and 3 and 1 and 1, because there's times when you just open up your Jaguar. As unlikely as it is, sometimes you do open a Jaguar. It's at 1, bro. It's on 50 cards and then I open it. Anyways, you climb to this, and climb to this. So at least get hand traps or get non-engine. Whereas if you don't play this, then you just have to force to be passed with bail. Like bail pass. Like, no, you can't do that. But then, like, sometimes you don't open up with fire. And you can climb into your access code, right? Because sometimes you do have a line where you can go make these two. And untargetable, draw 2, big beaters. It seemed pretty good. So I was debating whether to play this or update at the very last minute. Because update allows you to have the OTK still with him. But I felt like this lets you revive your links, right? So I was like, oh yeah. Because you can reestablish your trap with this, you know what I mean? So I just felt like this allows me to grind a bit better. Because like OTKing is fine, but like, yeah, being able to at least play the following turn is how this deck thrives, you know? So this is, I guess, the obvious choice. But that's pretty much the deck. Go and try it out. I know it's 50 cards. It's a bit unconventional, but give it a shot. It's so consistent. I didn't brick once. Oh, no, I lie. I bricked once. And I opened up the field spell, double mining. I was like, oh, shit. I mean, come on, it's always bound to happen. Like, even with the most consistent deck, you brick. But, like, the fact of how consistent this is, 50 cards wasn't an issue at all. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.